speaking of Superman, there's a review that's out from The Drinker. I believe it came out like a day or two ago. And I want to know what The Drinker has to say about Superman, the 2025 Superman. So because what Drinker has to say, if he say the movie is not good, if Gary says the movie is not good, and a bunch of other people say that the movie is not good, this movie might not have a lot, because a lot of people believe in what The Drinker says, right? And here's the thing. Moist Critical says he liked the movie, so we'll see. Let's see. The title reads, Superman, a beautiful James Gunn mess. All right, here we go.
Honestly, I go away on holiday for a few days and what feels like the biggest controversy in pop culture blows up across the internet. Out of all the movies I expected to be a lightning rod for conspiracy theories, political tug-of-wars, and the kind of explosive fan warfare that makes the Snyderverse look like a polite disagreement over afternoon tea,
Yes. I don't know what it is, but this movie was one of the biggest discourses on the internet. If you love the movie, you're like you're a James Gunn shill, you're a paid shill, you're a paid grifter, or whatever it is, right? You're a freaking Access Media. If you hated it, you're a Snyder bro. You hate everything. That's like, you are the worst people in the world, right? For some reason, if you just disagree slightly, there is some kind of like crazy banter on each side. You have to be either you have to be either for it or against it. You cannot be in the middle. I don't know what the hell happened, but this was worse than like anything like argumentative wise. Like this has been such a controversial movie in terms of whether it's good or not, right? It's wild. Well, let's see what Drinker has to say though. But he is correct.
Last one I predicted was James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn. But not to worry, dear viewer, because The Drinker is back to bring order out of chaos, restore balance to a world gone mad, and pronounce the final verdict on James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn. And damn, man, what a delightfully optimistic, frustratingly flawed, and thoroughly weird movie this turned out to be. On the plus side, the casting is excellent. David Corenswet turned out to be a perfect choice for the Man of Steel. The script doesn't try to diminish or deconstruct him just to massage some smug filmmaker's nihilistic ego, but instead presents him as a flawed but good-hearted man doing his best to navigate a complex world. There's a strong theme of heroism and positivity running through the movie, a refreshing lack of political agenda, and some genuinely great dramatic moments that made me think, yup, James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn actually understands what people want from a super.
Yeah, so I agree. Is because there's no woke messaging. There's no woke DEI, ESG nonsense. There are no Mary Sues. Well, here's the thing. Some people might consider Lois and a Mary Sue in a way, but like I think that's up for debate. But in terms of it being like, oh man, is it woke? It's because the first thing that people ask now whenever they go watch a movie or when they ask for a review, was it woke? Is it woke? Why? Why are people asking that? Because we've been inundated. We've been freaking force-fed these woke movies for how long now, right? It's been way too long, almost 10 years worth of woke garbage that we've been getting from Hollywood. And it's finally a breath of fresh air to have a movie that people are arguing about that has nothing to do with wokeness, right? And all it has to do is whether or not you like the movie or not, right? And it is passion. I think there's passion that people are so upset whether you should like this movie or you should not like this movie, right? There's no in between here, right? Yeah, it's not woke, which is good, right? But was it good? I don't think so. I think this movie is below mid. I gave it a 4.5 out of 10. I think this movie is not rewatchable. Is because I just sort of think it's boring. And I wish there were a lot cooler moments. I wish that the music was better. I wish the score was better. I know they use John Williams' Superman from the Donner stuff. It's like da 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 da, right? It's great, right? But the thing is that this movie feels like it's missing something, and I don't know what it is. It could be really, really good music. Is because, yeah, we didn't like the Man of Steel score is amazing. The Man of Steel score by Hans Zimmer's is a character in itself. That's how good that music is. It's so, especially when it starts flying, the hope, you get the Jor-El monologue, and you see, Superman looking to the sun, kneels down with his fist, the little pebble starts shaking, and he flies up. Holy crap, dude. I don't get that in this movie. Superman flying in this movie is fine. It just looks really zippy, really fast, but it feels like you're not flying with Superman. A really good example of feeling that you are flying with Superman, you're a part of the movie. I don't know what it was, but Iron Man 1. Remember the first time Iron Man flew in his Mark II suit, and he flies to Santa Monica? He goes to the Santa Monica Pier and has that freaking rock and roll music. Dun, 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 dun. It's like, holy crap, man. This is so badass. Exactly the same feeling I got when I watched Man of Steel. In this movie, I don't get none of that. It doesn't feel like I'm flying with Superman. It feels like I'm fucking zippy dippy. Fucking zip, zip, zip. It's so fast paced. You don't have time to sort of marinate. You don't have time to sort of, just take in that we're flying, right? There's no cool flying scene. It's maybe because James Gunn doesn't want another flying scene, because this is not Superman day one, right? Superman day one is Man of Steel. That is Superman day one. This is Superman year 3, right? We don't need an origin story. We've done that already. We don't need to do any of that. And I think at least show Superman flying around, following him and stuff like that. That's really cool. We don't have any of that. But yes, I digress. I'm sorry. I've been talking about Superman flying for a long time now. I just wish they had that in this movie.
Superman movie. In short, its heart is definitely in the right place, and when James Gunn manages to get out of his own way, he's able to deliver a strong take on Superman that feels fresh and different but still vital and timeless. That being said,
here we go.
It's still very much a James Gunn movie with all the baggage that entails. The plot is a schizophrenic mess that drops you right into the middle of a story that's halfway told already. The humor that worked so well in the Guardians movies now feels forced, dated, out of place, and gratingly annoying. There's way too many characters for the script to sustain them all, and the story hinges on a big lore change in Revelation that I'm pretty sure is going to piss off comic book fans.
Yep.
Basically, James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn is a bit of a mess. A creative and well-meaning mess, but a mess all the same. Neither great nor terrible, but a flawed creation based on flawed ideas, and a perfect example of why just throwing a bunch of
this scene was probably the best scene with Lois and Superman. And immediately subverted, or I guess the emotion taken away, because there's a freaking giant space squid looking alien outside attacking Metropolis, right? This scene between Lois and Superman is actually really well written. Oh, I'm punk rock. Maybe I'm a different type of punk rock. I'm a new punk rock or whatever. I don't think Superman is punk rock or whatever. But let's say if for the sake of this movie, he is, right? You have that. Oh, here's hot cocoa and stuff like that. I feel like, he's my dog. He's not my dog. I'm going to turn myself in. Hey, remember that thing I said to you, on the other day that we're not good for each other yet. It's very good back and forth between that, with the fucking giant alien shit fighting the Justice Gang, right? And even Lois asks him, hey, shouldn't you go out there and help them? Oh, no, they got this. Like I said again, bitch, you are Superman. Go out there and help them. I thought you want to save people. I just want to save people, man. That was one of your arguments with Lois in the first scene that you had in the apartment, right? If you want to save people, why don't you go out there and help? Why don't you go out there and do something? Instead, we get freaking screaming Hawk Girl for some reason, and then you have Guy Gardner freaking creating a giant bat. Bunk, bunk, bunk. It's sort of campy and goofy. It's all James Gunny. But the thing is, this scene would have been a lot better if you didn't have that giant monster in the back. And if you're talking about, Superman, you got to give him a moment to be human. Shut up, man. I thought your goal is to save people. Go out there and save people. Stop arguing. Stop talking to her. Go out and save them. Go out and save them. Stop the monsters. and come back and have sex. It's that simple.
Talented people together with no thought for their creative sensibilities doesn't always guarantee a great end product. Anyway, I'll give you a brief idea of the story so you know what you're dealing with here. The film ditches the usual origin story and instead picks up a few years into Superman's career, where he's recently intervened to prevent a war in Eastern Europe. For now at least, and is busy fighting a losing battle to Ultraman. But it turns out this was all just a distraction by Lex Luthor so he could find the Fortress of Solitude and steal information that would allow him to defeat Superman. I mean, considering what Ultraman is eventually revealed to be, he already has everything he needs to take Superman down, but whatever, let's just go with it. Anyway, Luthor eventually finds and decodes a message from Jor-El telling Superman to conquer and subjugate the peoples of Earth, which naturally doesn't go down.
Remember, rule with no mercy. No mercy, okay? What does no mercy mean? If someone says otherwise, rule with no mercy, okay? That means kill them.
Down too well when it gets released to the public. Superman's forced to turn himself into the US government so he can try to clear his name, but instead he gets handed over to Luthor, who sends him to a pocket universe that he created to hold superpowered prisoners because apparently...
That's the scene. I'm gonna go back over here.
Who sends him to a pocket universe that he created
right
to
here,
hold
you see Superman you see Superman flying out of the smoke. This is the only moment where I feel like Superman is like cool. He's flying in the back, he's floating there, but this scene was cut, it was so short, right? Why don't we get to see a little bit more, right? It's like, Superman is not supposed to be, a Jesus. He's supposed to be Muhammad. He's supposed to be Moses or whatnot. I don't care what he is, man. He's Superman. Let him float there for a little bit and freaking have him fly off. But this was like, it was cut. This aura farming over here. This guy farmed an aura for like a second. We need this shit. Yeah, it's so far away. You can barely see it. It needs to be a little bit closer. Cut in by 50%. Have him float there just a little bit and have him fly away. That's it. It would have been so cool, but no. Cut short. It's like, oh, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm doing it with my bro. Oh! And then you see a penis in your face.
Prisoners, because apparently that's a thing you can just do now.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Oh yeah, and if you were following the leaks, this is also where he keeps his army of mutated monkeys chained to computers who work night and day to stoke anti-Superman resentment on social media. Yes, this is real. This is a thing which is in the movie.
Right.
I remember when they talked about that. I thought that was bullshit. It's like, hey, we're gonna have mutant monkeys, thousands of them, mutant monkeys going on Twitter and typing terrible things about Superman, hashtag super shit. I'm like, ain't no way that's real. Ain't no way. Nope, it's in the movie.
Honestly, a couple of dozen guys in an office in India could have done the same job with less effort, but what can
Yeah, but the smell.
I say? It's James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn. Also, you'd think the ability to create entire universes would kind of negate the need to fight one man for control of a tiny fraction of one planet, but...
By the way, that laser scene, that is probably his coolest part. And look how short it was. Like, you see this, right? Everyone's floating in the air, and you see the fucking heat vision.
Planet, but again,
he does that for maybe like 2 more revolutions, and that's it. And that's an air, almost follow the sky. That's it. The cool part, that is Superman's coolest part in the entire movie. In terms of how badass he is, cut short.
And whatever, just don't think about it too much. Anyway, with Superman out of action, it's up to Lois Lane to join forces with the Justice Gang, and yes, that's another thing which is in this movie.
You are now a life member of the Groovy Gang.
To clear his name and find a way to rescue him so he can stop Lex Luthor and his dastardly plans before they tear the entire planet apart.
Groovy!
Yeah.
Now, you probably don't need me to tell you that there was a fuck ton of expectation riding on this movie. Not only did it have to vindicate James Gunn as the new head of the franchise, but it also had to relaunch a whole new version of Superman, kickstart the entire DCU, and save the future of superhero movies single-handed. Because let's be honest here, something tells me the Fantastic Four isn't going to get the job done.
That's true. Now here's the thing. like I said, I want this movie to completely beat Fantastic Four, right? I think this because I'm more of a DC guy than I am a Marvel guy. So I want this to succeed. I want this movie to be good because I don't want Fantastic Four to do better than this, right? It's because of all the stuff that we've been getting. You know, you're gonna get female Silver Surfer. You're gonna get the leader of the Fantastic Four is now Sue Storm, and then you're gonna have Johnny Firedick. That's not gonna be a ladies' man anymore, right? It's stupid, right? And that's the reason why I wanted this movie to be good. So hey, if you have a movie about, you know, hetero norms, you know, being a badass, being Superman, this is the type of stuff we want. We don't want a freaking female Silver Surfer, and then she has big ass tits, but she doesn't.
It was a pretty tall order to begin with, and to be honest, I'm not sure it accomplishes any of those things, never mind all of them.
This area right here is probably the worst CGI in the entire movie. In terms of up close, right? The CGI gobbledygook that's
honest,
inside, the CGI mess that's inside the freaking pocket, the dimension or whatever, like that whole area where they're fucking holding up the green baby, really, really bad CGI slop. It's awful. But this up close shot where his neck is, looks like his body is moving and his head is not. It goes, hey, eyes up here, right?
It accomplishes any of those things.
It doesn't look that great.
Like I said before, there's definite positives to be drawn from this film, so don't go thinking it's all doom and gloom. David Corenswet was a solid casting choice for Superman. He's
I would
earnest
agree.
and sincere. He's definitely got the right look for the character, and he plays well off Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. In the hands of a different creative, a modern-day Lois could have come across as a smug, abrasive girl boss, but she never does. She challenges him on his beliefs at times, but it feels like it comes from a well-intentioned place and not some insecure need to assert moral superiority over him. Crypto the Superdog was another divisive aspect of the
Like I said, Crypto the Superdog should have been eaten for dinner. We should be eating Superdog, is because so far I think the only time that like we actually get a very, very cool moment, a very cool speech from Superman to Lex was cut short because of Crypto jumping in. I think that's stupid and retarded. I think that having him freaking everywhere is dumb. But we gotta sell merch. We gotta make money from the merch. Yeah, but like you didn't have to have him like slam Lex Luthor like that. It's so like he could have died. Like he's a super mutt. He could have fucking died.
trailers. Some people loved him, others hated him, but really, he's not a big deal in the movie at all. He shows up from time to time when the script needs him, and then conveniently vanishes when it doesn't. The Justice Gang are a bit of an odd choice though. Apart from Mr. Terrific, they don't have much to do except fight the odd monster in the background.
Hot Girl is
really
awful.
pisses me off because Nathan Fillion deserves better, goddammit. There was also a pretty huge fucking debate raging around whether this film had some political axe to grind, mostly due to a misquoted Variety and
I think this is stupid, or the whole like MAGA saying that this movie is woke. I think whenever we have these like mainstream media publications such as Fox, Variety, or like they're basically putting words in our mouths, writing bullshit, right? Superman, James Gunn says Superman is about immigrant that came from another place, and now we've lost value to basic human kindness. Yes, it's about politics. It's like you are trying to drum up like freaking like a controversy before the movie even drops. Like, how stupid are you?
interview with James Gunn that was then amplified by absolute retards like Mark Melkin.
But Agatha is the gayest.
Oh, this is the gay boy.
Gayer and gayer as each episode goes.
I hate so much.
That guy needs to work at McDonald's again. He needs to go back and work at McDonald's and put the fries in the bag. That guy does not need to be interviewing anyone other than asking, is your order correct, sir?
About the things that you choose to be.
You can almost feel how desperate he is to lead the cast into saying something, anything controversial for clicks and retweets.
Superman is an immigrant story, that it is political. MAGA today was getting a little upset that he called Superman an immigrant. I wanted to get your reaction. Your brother. Yeah.
Sean Gunn exacerbated the issue here is because saying that, oh, if you don't like immigrants, you're not American. Shut the fuck up. Shut the hell up, man. It's like, why don't you just crawl up a freaking like hole and like lick your mother's asshole? Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, go suck my dick, man. Fucking gaslighter piece of shit. I hate these people.
Talked about Superman being an immigrant, and now MAGA is already upset that he's called Superman an immigrant. I wanted to get your reaction. You said it's an immigrant story. It's a political movie. MAGA today is going nuts. What do you have to say to MAGA?
Seriously, guys, in case you haven't figured it out by now, entertainment journalists are not your friends and never have been. Anyway, all that aside, I'm happy to say that James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn absolutely isn't a political movie. It's not out to lecture you on anything, and it's not trying to make a statement on modern day issues. As Nathan Fillion says,
it's just a movie, guys.
The only problem, though, is that it's not a particularly good Superman movie, and a lot of
It's
that problem
not.
stems from James Gunn himself. I think it's about time people stopped worshipping this guy like he's some cinematic messiah sent down.
He is not, all right? He's made couple of good movies. And that's about it. All right? Like that's about it. Like he can't get out of it. He can't save himself. Right? He can't get in the own way of his like ugly ass like dick. Like it's like when he was writing something, it's like, all right, cool, very, very cool scene, cool dialogue. Dog jumps in, haha. It's like, dude, stop. That's why he shouldn't make the next Superman movie. This guy needs to just stop and just be a CEO. Just be an executive producer. That's all you need to be. You don't need to do anything else.
To save Hollywood. His recent track record has been spotty at best, and although he's definitely good at what he does only works within a pretty narrow comfort zone, and if he's forced to step too far outside it, he seems kind of lost and uninspired. I get the feeling he would have much rather made a Justice Gang movie, because it would have
been better. It would have been better if he made a Justice Gang movie, is because he's actually better with groups. By him, like working on a single character, that's where he fails.
played to all his favourite sensibilities as a filmmaker, forcing another bunch of likeable misfits to work together to take down a bigger threat. But there was too much riding on this film for him to trust it to anyone else, and so we ended up with a Superman movie that can't quite seem to keep its focus on Superman. Another shortcoming of Gunn's that's become more obvious in recent years is the humour. When it comes to writing dialogue, Gunn is basically a second-generation follower of Whedonism. Much like Taika Waititi, he seems to understand what made Joss Whedon's writing so effective in superhero movies and definitely knows how to replicate it effectively, but what he lacks is Whedon's finely tuned sense of restraint. A bit of carefully crafted levity at just the right moment can really enhance a dramatic scene, but too much at the wrong time soon becomes an irritating.
I would say early Joss Whedon probably would have made a very good Superman movie. When I'm saying early Joss Whedon, it's like when he made when he did what's it called again, Avengers 1. I think a Superman movie that was done by Joss Whedon at that time, like not at that time, but like when Joss Whedon was good, because Joss Whedon sucks now, right? When Joss Whedon made that, I think it would have been really cool, because right now it's like we have this slop.
Distraction, and that's exactly what Superman suffers from. Every time the movie's on the brink of some intense, heartfelt moment, it's almost always undercut by some shitty, badly executed joke.
Exactly.
Like it's afraid to ever take itself serious.
I keep saying this. Yes, it's too. He's too afraid.
Not every movie has to be Guardians of the Galaxy, James. You're allowed to move on in life. There's just so much shit thrown at you in this film, so many characters that don't get the time and space they need to breathe and develop, so much world-changing technology and truncated subplots that it becomes kind of overwhelming after a while. By the time the credits rolled, I actually felt tired of it all. It's a film that never quite finds its narrative focal point, that's in such a rush to introduce so much new stuff that it ends up getting in its own way. And it doesn't help that it feels like we're dropped into a story halfway through the telling, like there should have been another movie before this one to properly introduce Superman, Lex Luthor, and the Justice Gang. Instead,
yeah. So like in this movie, like I do get it, and I didn't mention this before, where you got to give audience a credit. Like they should like someone like Superman, they should know these characters already. But sometimes if you're making something that's completely new, give us a cliff note. Give us a cliff notes version of it. 4 or 5 minutes of prologue or some shit like that. It's like, hey, here's this, instead of giving us like a wall of text that I have to read, right? You don't need to give me that. Give me like, it's like the whole Lord of the Rings thing. Or give me, it's like, hey, this is like, here's Superman and stuff like that. And like, it would have been so much easier if someone explained it, right? Something really, really quick. But now we have a wall of text. And yes, like you start into the movie, Superman gets his ass beat immediately. And he flies back and gets his ass beat again. No, we need just a little bit, some like, give us some prologue to know exactly what's happening here. I think people will be okay with it, right? Don't Star Wars it. You don't need to do any of that. Yo, American Ninja, thank you so much for the raid, man. Thank you for the raid, dude. Thank you, man.
They're all just thrown into the mix without any explanation, like we're just expected to know who and what everyone is. And yeah, I know most people know who Superman and Lex Luthor are by this point, but this isn't just a new version of these characters we're seeing here, it's a complete relaunch of the world that they're part of. It should be epic and significant, but instead it just feels like the middle entry of a trilogy, or a by-the-numbers mid-phase Marvel movie. Just business as usual, just another forgettably mid-superhero flick that happens to have Superman in it. Add all these problems together and you end up with a film that's somehow overshadowed by its own creator, that can't seem to get out of its own way, and that fails to live up to the impossible expectations placed on it. Superhero movies really have reached a fork in the road of destiny this year and desperately needed something to get them on the right path again. The Marvel juggernaut is falling to pieces, Sony have abandoned whatever the fuck they were hoping to accomplish with The Leftovers, and DC have been unsuccessfully relaunched and reinvented more times than Katy Perry at this point. None of it seems to be working, and as much as this movie makes a valiant effort, I don't think James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn is gonna turn it around.
No.
Anyway,
there it is.
That's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Oh man, another good video from the drinker. And yeah, I agree. I think this movie could have been really cool. I think it could have been really badass, but it wasn't. Is because James Gunn got in his own damn way. So yeah, that is sad. That is very, very sad that happened. But it is wild, man. Very, very wild that we didn't get a Superman that we deserved. Is because I think that James Gunn is too afraid of just letting the writing on a wall just read for itself. He's afraid. It's like, well, he paints the wall really, really cool, right? All right, instead of letting it dry, he goes inside and do some other shit. It's like, bro, let it cook. Like, trust your writing. And he was too afraid. And of course, he made a lot of dudes in the movie cry and stuff like that. And I think adding in crypto or just like undercutting or undermining his own writing is because he's afraid. I think that was a major, major flaw in the movie. It could have been a lot better. Now the thing is that would the movie been better if it had the original 20 minutes that wasn't cut? I'm not sure. It's because according to what we heard, the 20 minutes that was cut from the movie were all like goofy ass parts, right? So yeah, so we don't know. I knew Mr. Terrific from the Injustice movie as some egghead had to look up Geigo. Yeah, Guy Gardner, I knew who he was. I didn't know. I think I heard of Mr. Terrific. And of course, the thing is, Mr. Terrific is pretty damn cool. And I wish that Superman got a very, very badass scene in this movie, but we didn't get a badass scene. Whether or not he's doing some cool stuff, like beating up some bad guys or flying around, like we could have got a very, very cool scene, but it was given to Mr. Terrific, which is, James Gunn did say that one of his favorite characters is Mr. Terrific, so it does really make sense there. But there's the video. Here's the link. Here it is. Go ahead and give it a like. There's the link. Go ahead and give it a like. Go ahead and share and stuff like that. Subscribe to the drinker. Always good stuff from him. And we'll just have to see whether or not this movie has the legs to continue. We'll see.